There's no way we're losing tomorrow, right? Like, there ain't no way we can be losing tomorrow, right? Like, we're playing against the team that's bottom of the Premier League table. They have minus 29 goal difference. They've only got 2 wins this season, right? Like, I respect and understand the injuries, the difficulties, and the stuff that's kind of been, affecting our process this season. But surely this means nothing against an opposition like this, right? Whew. Well, since sacking Heckingbottom after their 5-0 thrashing to Burnley, they've brought back Chris Wilder. I was always quite surprised that they sacked him to begin with. I think it was the right decision to make because his back 3 system, using the wide centre-backs to make those underlapping runs, got them promoted and got them staying up in the Premier League in their first season. So this guy is a really good manager. And since he's returned back, they lost 2-0 respectfully to Liverpool. Then they beat Brentford 1-0. It seems like Wilder's brought back the confidence. It seems like Wilder's brought back that new manager bounce. Now they look more organised. Now they're actually playing numbers forward in attack in the right times and moments, and they look like a team that can pass the ball again. As I said, he's brought the belief back to Sheffield United this season, and we can't be taking them for granted now. Like, we must respect every team we play against because we're mid-table in the Premier League right now. I'm sorry, we aren't that good where we should be discrediting any team in the Premier League. Look at our league position. We must respect the opposition and play a great game of football if we want to beat Sheffield United. I guess we have some hope and optimism to look forward to tomorrow, as we know that Nkunku is set to get his first minutes of this new Premier League season. For sure, in an alternate universe, if Nkunku never got the injury, I don't think we're this far below in the table. I think in terms of what he brings to us offensively in the midfield, he was that glue that we pinned a lot of our hopes on, and he's the type of guy that makes his teammates look better. So it's going to be nice to see him play, but we must remember, let's have some realistic expectations around Nkunku. Let's not expect like magnificent performances immediately. He's getting his first minutes in a new league. He's barely played with his teammates, he needs some time, and we must support him. But I guess for myself, the one thing I want to see tomorrow is a bit of fearlessness. I do feel like a lot of times, especially being a Chelsea fan over the recent years, I feel like we kind of cave into our fears. We don't really embrace the energy we have at this club. And I thought when Pochettino was hired, like, one of the things he's known for is that fearless nature that he brings to his teams. I mean, we've seen small examples of this. I think one of the best examples was that 4-4 classic against Man City, but I haven't seen it consistently enough to feel like, okay, is this really part of our DNA at this club right now? Tomorrow we will have a test against an opposition that will come here with a clear plan. They're going to park the bus. They're going to protect the lines. They're going to make sure there's no spaces in those central areas. They're going to be compact and resolute. And we have to show that we are capable of finding solutions against this opposition, against a tactic that's been stumping us now for like over 3 years. Tomorrow, we need to start seeing signs of some hope and life again at this football club. So my friends, hope you guys enjoy. I'll be breaking down the press conference, my predicted lineup, all that good stuff. But before we get into anything, today's video is brought to you by Parimatch UK. How would you like the chance to win a £50 free bet? This season, Parimatch UK have launched their new, completely free-to-play football prediction game called Hat Trick Hunt. Every single week, you will get the opportunity to predict 3 scores from the Premier League with 3 rewards for each correct prediction that you get correct. Get all 3 correct, and you will be rewarded with a £50 free bet. My guys, really is that simple. So this week, here are my scoreline predictions. I've not been doing too great right now. I'm sure you guys can do better than me. I've gone for us to beat Sheffield United 2-1, and to be fair, I'm not feeling that confident, but surely, like, we can't lose against Sheffield United, can we? Are the depths set to get even lower? We'll find out this weekend. Outside of that, I've gone for Aston Villa to continue their winning streak against Brentford, and I've gone for Liverpool to absolutely destroy United this weekend. So my friends, if you'd like to get involved yourself, click on the link below. Of course, you must be 18 plus to play, and full terms and conditions apply. So thank you to Parimatch for sponsoring today's video. Now let's start with the team news, and wow, it's growing and growing and growing. We're learning that Robert Sanchez will be out now for the next few weeks, which must imply that we may sign a short-term goalkeeping replacement in January, and I guess the name currently is Ramsdale from Arsenal. To move on though, Cucurella is the next guy to suffer with injury. He has issues with his foot, and his ankle. And as we know right now, Reece James is only now starting to take his rehabilitation again. Must be very difficult, like, you know, constantly having to do the same rehab. It must be tough. So I feel like, listen, we feel frustrated as fans, but we have to remember these guys are young. We must support our teammates. We should show that love on social media. That's how I see it, in my opinion. Outside of that, Noni Madueke, it seems like the reason for his omission from teams recently has been because he has a minor injury as well too. And I'm feeling for Noni because for the past 18 months, I think all this guy has known is also injuries. When we signed him from PSV, he also literally just came back from an injury that kept him out from the start of last season. So, you know, it's not great, but at least, thank God, my friends, we have some positives to discuss in team news. We're seeing Lavia, Nkunku and Gusto have been doing full returns to first team training, and it seems like Nkunku and Gusto for sure will be taking part in tomorrow's game. So thank God we're having some star boys coming back when we actually meet them. So my friends, that's team news out the way. Now let me break down the key talking points from the press conference, and I think we have to discuss injuries. I felt like today Pochettino was very humanist, if I'm using that word rightly. You know, he was kind of giving us fans an indication behind like the mentals with the squad right now. And of course, with all these injuries coming to many players, especially to key ones too, like Reece James, it is going to take a bit of an impact on the team. Of course, that's why the team went out earlier this week for their team bonding session. I think they hit the clubs, they got a dinner. I think that's good stuff. We have to remember these guys haven't even been here for like more than 6 months. So team bonding is essential, and these guys are young millionaires. I mean, they're not going to be playing like video games at someone's yard, are they? You know what I mean? But to move on, Poch reveals that Reece James naturally is feeling low, and I'd imagine that he'll feel very low, very depressed. This is why I feel like us fans have to kind of be supportive too. Obviously, he was very excited to be coming back. Poch revealed that him, the club and everyone, the medical team, they felt like they did everything right this time to get Reece James back. He wasn't rushed back. We really took our time. So the fact that he's broken down again, of course, it's gonna make this guy feel low, and it's natural. And you know, Poch said that we must be careful with how we talk about the situation. You know, because for players like Reece, it's difficult to keep your mind calm. You know, and I think it's a very natural thing. So all he's hoping for now is that the best possible solution and option is found, and it seems to be this hint towards potentially getting surgery, which may mean that Reece will be out for the whole season. But if that was the case, and I'm no expert, if that could help him for future seasons, listen, I don't know what the answer is, but hopefully the right one is found. I think we need that right now. So that is the injury stuff out the way. Moving on to Petrovic, of course, he'll be in line to make his first start of the season. And Poch said that, listen, he's been training now for 4 or 5 months. You know, he was a summer acquisition. He has been training very well. He's ready to step up, and we have full trust in him, you know. And to be honest, it's what you have to hear. Now, I felt like Petrovic, listen, he made that little mistake for the second goal Everton scored. I mean, I'm just saying it in terms of what I saw with my eyes, but I'm not using that against him. Don't feel like I'm trying to like create some narrative. It's his first game. He wasn't expecting to play. Like, come on. I think every goalkeeper in the world would be making a small mistake like that. But, you know, there's a lot of promise around him. He had a great few seasons in the MLS, and, you know, he seems to be of capable abilities. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he does in his first proper full start when he plays against Sheffield United tomorrow. So let's see what you got, Petrovic. And of course, we know for the final key points that Nkunku is set to come back now, but he revealed as well that we can't put too much pressure on Nkunku. And, you know, I'm reiterating what the manager himself is also reiterating. Like, with how our season's going, it's very easy and lazy for us fans to rest all our hopes and have all these unrealistic expectations around Nkunku coming in single-handedly, just being that maverick that we need, that instantly helps us climb up the table. It's not going to work like that. You'll probably need a few more weeks. Like, we have to give him that time and patience. I don't want to see stupid accounts on social media if Nkunku has a mid-game against Sheffield United doing fail comps and saying the first thing that comes to their heads. I think that negativity doesn't really help or do anything for anyone. So my friends, that really was the main points from the press conference. Share your thoughts and opinions. But right now, let's move on to discussing the predicted lineups. For the preview versus Everton, I did 2 lineups. The lineup that I want to see and the lineup I'm expecting Poch to use. So to start with things, I'm going to pick the lineup I'm expecting Pochettino is going to use. You guys are seeing it on the screen. Naturally, Petrovic. At the back, I've gone for Disasi, Silva, Badia, Levi Cole. Midfield of Connor, Enzo, Caicedo. That midfield basically picks itself at this point. And up front, I've gone for Mudryk, Jackson, and Cole Palmer. Maybe Poch makes like 1 or 2 tweaks. Could it be the right wing? Could it be our left back? Could Maatsen start a game? Or will he come on as a sub? I know in the press conference, Poch revealed that we'll have to turn towards Maatsen because all our left backs and most of our full backs are now out. So it's a shame that it's come down to injuries, giving opportunities for Maatsen, but that's how this game works. And hopefully Maatsen takes full advantage of the next few games he potentially has to try and change Pochettino's opinion right now. But this lineup doesn't necessarily inspire me. I feel like we've used similar lineups against this type of opposition that comes here to park the bus, be defensive, and we have no solutions to break them down. So yeah, I'm not too sure how I feel, but this is the lineup I'm picking based on the types of lineups that Poch has tended to use in games like this. So that's the first lineup out the way. Here's the lineup that I want to see happen. I know I'm being a YouTuber right now, but my God, I've been watching this team struggle against this type of opposition for over 3 years. I keep seeing managers make those decisions to stifle their opposition, even though these teams are stifling us the most. We don't commit enough men forward. We don't have enough men attacking the spaces inside the box. We don't offer enough wide support to break these teams down. And I've seen us struggle all the time when we're focusing about the odd counter-attacking threat this team might have compared to the threats we can bring consistently throughout the game. So I'm sorry, tomorrow I like to see 4-2-3-1. I think against Everton for the final 20 minutes was the only time we looked like a proper team, in my opinion. You guys are seeing my lineup up front, Nico Jackson. I think he picks himself. Broge is a good player with good promise, but he's a guy that really relies upon balls and behinds. He relies upon running the channels out wide. He prefers playing in the transition, whereas with Nico Jackson, he can hold the ball, he can drop deep to link up, and I think this team needs that. Otherwise, you have a striker that's not involved in the game. And I can't afford to have that against a team that will be defensive like Sheffield United tomorrow. So Jackson up front, in behind Cole Palmer. I think, listen, if you're going to have these types of forwards like we have, you must supplement these guys with a player that's looking to find them, that can play those balls and behinds, that is going to be looking to receive between the lines all the time. And I think we need that in Cole Palmer. I don't want to see him on the right hand side because I need to see proper width, especially if we don't have Gusto starting or Reece James or proper fullback support. I think against Everton it was very stupid to see Cucurella and Palmer playing for like an hour on the right hand side. It did nothing for us. I have to see Sterling on the right. He's looked very good there penetrating the lines, and I need to see Mudryk continue the promise he showed against Everton on the left hand side. But to really supplement them properly, I've gone for Enzo and Conor Gallagher. For me at the moment, I just think Caicedo, listen, we all know he's got difficulties. The season prep has worked against him, and I think that it will take him even more time to get back to the real Caicedo. This is why I'm not too angry or that critical, because I understand that he can't be at his best right now. But I think when you've got Connor, who's really eating yards up for fun, that is covering ground, that is winning his duels, I think having him alongside Enzo, where I have to see Enzo a bit more central. Against Everton, I'm seeing Enzo making lateral runs out wide to help support Mudryk. The guy's the brain of your team. Against a team like Sheffield United, I need Enzo in midfield, in that pivot, playing balls over the top, spreading the play, dictating the play, being that metronome that we know he can do. You have to do that, I'm sorry. And I think the best way to support this type of midfield, give them 2 fullbacks that will attack. Now, ideally, I'd be going for Gusto, but I can't imagine he'll start the game tomorrow. I think that he might be a sub for the last 20 minutes at least, or 30 minutes potentially. So in the meantime, I've gone for Ian Maatsen on the left-hand side. I think, sorry, this guy has to play. I'm not here to debate now. I think it's a bit ridiculous that we've not even turned towards using an option that we have that could have been complementing this team offensively. When I look at Mudryk's always needed a left-back. I think Enzo wants a left back to play to, so Enzo doesn't have to make runs out wide to support Mudryk. It doesn't make sense to me. Listen, Maatsen's not world class, duh, but when his best qualities actually complement the team, you know? And I'm sorry, you weren't using Danny Rose, a winger at left back to at Tottenham. I don't really see the utility behind constantly leaving him out the team. And then when you're playing him right wing, or you're playing him as a 10. I don't know what you've seen in Maatsen. I'm at this point right now where I've seen millions of managers at my football club. And listen, I will never think that the manager that we have hired, his decision making is like the perfect decision making, and like everything he thinks is correct. I don't agree with that. I feel like if we utilize this guy's attacking forays in the final thirds, it could have really complemented the rest of his teammates. That's how I see it. I'm not even thinking about Maatsen. I'm thinking about how could it help the guy in midfield who plays on the left hand side. That's what I'm thinking about, because I think ultimately in defense, now this is the risk that I'm probably not going to see, but I think at some point surely we have to, no? Levi, Coral and Badia Shield. I think I need to see our lines push higher up. How many stupid counter-attacks do we give away? Because our defense is a bit too deep and there's that big ocean of space between midfield and our defense. Nah, I'm sorry, man. I need to see a defense that has the height, the recovery pace, that can play higher up to really suffocate the opposition. And for God's sake, we have two incredible centre-backs who are great at progressing the ball. How often do they really have the opportunities to punch those balls between the lines? How often do we take advantage of their ability to connect the field with their balls over the top, their switch balls, their long passes? It's like, why are we not utilising one of their best skill sets? Didn't De Zerbi utilise that in Cole, for example, at Brighton to incredible effect? And wasn't that the reason why he was getting so many accolades? Yeah, we're using Cole at left back. I don't see the utility behind how that helps anyone long term. Yes, I understand you want height to protect against set pieces, but it's not even helping us because we're inviting so many silly crosses all the time that it negates having height in the team. So I'm sorry, my friends, I need to see some bravery. I need to see some changes, because if we're going to keep doing this definition of insanity, using the same type of lineup, expecting these guys to score from like 3 or 4 chances per game, I'm sorry, like, it explains why our season is how it is. So my friends, that is the video for today. Share your thoughts and opinions, but share the lineup that you guys want to see. Like, what formation do you want to see? What players do you want to see? Let us know below, my friends. And on that note, I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Lions TV. I'll catch you guys later for some more videos. Cool.